Yeah, YouTube family, the Maverick in the space again. You see the front page of Today Gleaner? You see it? Warmington's regret. And still the best and most credible opinion, you know. Still fair and fearless analysis. And we are going to demonstrate it again. But I'm going to do the unthinkable today. And this is the unthinkable of the most unthinkable. The Maverick are going to defend Everard Warmington. Well, for those who don't know what we are talking about, apparently Mr. Warmington did go up on some political platform down at Westmoreland and use the F word 2 times. Look like Warmington did under few liquor and him go up there and you don't know the vibes of a political rally and people excited and him go up there and say, put on an X beside the effing bell or whatever. Something like that himself. Before me get to it though, I agree with the opposition and I agree with the common Jamaican. We say it is hypocritical to go on stage show and go party, go scrape up entertainer and selector and the common Jamaican off of the street to use so-called bad word and allow a member of parliament to get away with it. But here my thing now, I don't believe none of them to go to prison for the use of these so-called expletives or so-called bad words. Because me personally, I don't think any word in and of itself is bad. It is how you use a word and the context in which you construct whatever you're saying that makes it potentially harmful to people. Now, we can use what them call bad word in a myriad of ways without it meaning anything but just the use of some descriptive words. And we can use perfectly allowable language when mean more harm to my fellow Jamaican and my fellow human being than any use of any so-called bad word. And if you understand the history of this bad word, it has come from way back in our colonial days. The lawyer, you know, when they prosecute people for the use of so-called bad words, you know, it is on the books of 1843, you know, and it was part of a principle when them called back in them time the linguistic censorship, when the slave master used to want to tell the slave all what he say and how he say what he must say. From them time, them are deny we independence of thought and independence of expression because we were slaves. And we have this old fool law on the book same way. And I designate particular words in our colorful language as bad. Nothing no bad with the word them. You know, so me always tell people say, anytime nobody confront me with this bad word argument, me always say to them, you know, say you know nothing to worry about though. If the use of these so-called bad words, if that was the worst thing about our society today, we would have a wonderful society to invest in our families and grow our children. If the use of bad words was our worst problem. It is not. Look on the world them where them call bad. The word them where them call bad. Look on them. What bad about them? Except that culturally and socially, we've been brainwashed to think that these words are bad. Why you think these very same words are glorified in other cultures in the world? When you go to jurisdictions like the United States and some places of Europe, them words are used freely, you know, and used as basically to identify you as Jamaican, you know. Why we without our old colonial mentality feel like these words are bad or them worse than any other word? So in that regard, me not see no reason for no persecution of Warmington. Remember the disclaimer. The hypocrisy is there. If you're going to scrape up artists from in a dance up on stage show and you're going to scrape up selector for use so-called bad word, then you have to scrape up Warmington too. I don't think any of them should get scraped up for the use of these words. These words, when used in isolation and the way they're used commonly in the Jamaican lingua, these words are not inciting any violence for the most part. They are basically just highly colorful and descriptive language. That's what they are. Highly colorful and descriptive words, to be more specific. Right, him come out and make a big apology. See it right up on the front page of the paper. Big apology because you know politics. And as we said, technically, if you arrest people for use them same language, then the man in a parliament and make them law there. Not supposed to use them as well, unless you pay the same consequences. In that regard, we have to hold Warmington to books. So we feel technically, if you want to be technical about it, Warmington get arrested and charged too. But again, people, the bigger discussion should be, should Jamaicans in 2025 be arresting and charging our local citizen for the simple use of words. Words that don't connotate anything that is inherently bad. All these words are colorful words, you know. Loud, and if you want to interpret them as vulgar, you might say that. But to be loud and vulgar is not a crime, the last time I checked. And to make the thing even worse and more, I don't know, crazy to me, is that it's a political platform, the man, you know. It's the cut and thrust of a political campaign. A man up on stage and man nice and crowd a rail up and man say, "Ray," and you use some of the Jamaican colloquial language. I'm sure I did see a PNP meeting, rally, sometime back, couple months back, where it was none of the representatives that use them, but as some popular entertainer they up on the stage and they must string a few of these colorful words together as well. Some African defend Wami upon that one. I know what people don't depend Wami for nothing at all, can them say Wami a tegereg. And it might very well be a tegereg, you know. But me I said this issue I designated some of the word them bad. I want full colonial backward something where we have a follow around to this day in 2025. 1843, count how much year that. Count how much century that. Count how much generation of your family dead since 1843. Is that a joke thing? I mean, I feel every pressure want me too much for it. If the use of the words were as inherently bad as people make them out to be, because 3/4 who are talking hypocrite about it, you know? Them use them very same word there. When them in them circles, and when them on them corner, and when them and them friend attack, and when them get upset with them woman, and when them get upset with them picnic, they use those very same words. These are just words. Think about them. Think about them, the words them when them are called bad. Them say is a bad word. What makes a bad word? What? Except for the brainwash, when you get brainwash for your picnic, your ear say it bad. What makes a bad word? Tell me what make it a bad word. I mean, when nobody come on the channel with no emotional reaction, you know. Just talk to me honestly and intelligently. What makes the use of those words inherently bad? Contextually, they're not telling if you go beat up nobody. They're not telling if you go kill nobody. They're not telling if you go assault nobody. It's just because of the whole colonial baggage where we are carrying in our mentality. That is why we're so subservient to them kind of outdated liar about bad word. What is the fine for a bad word? I think the fine is something like $20 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, you know. Eh? When saying this and saying that, we don't really use them words. Well, we don't think them bad, but me not, you know, deliberately go to use them. But I mean, we grew up hearing these words, and if you're expressing yourself, and in the moment, in the instant, you can't find a proper English word to describe the situation, then your brain are going to resort to the use of these words automatically. Almost a kind of conditioned reflex. And in that regard, I see absolutely nothing wrong with these words. Except we say Bakamasa say them bad. And we still, like some big fool waste people, still run up and down behind Bakamasa principle and say the word them bad. Not do the word them. Don't lock up Wami. I want to stop lock up the artist them, and stop lock up the selector them, and stop lock up the common Jamaica on the street for use for him language. Boom! Boom. How the Maverick sound? Reasonable. Best and most credible, you know. Don't get emotional and don't listen to the intricacies of what me I say. What makes... I want to answer me now in the comment section, you know. Any one of the people who disagree with me, because I know some people are going to disagree with me, tell me what makes those words inherently bad. I can tell you in perfect English language, you know. Go out and cut that person's throat. No bad word knowing that. But that to me is a much more insightful statement than using the word. You see me I said to you? That to me is a much more dangerous statement. Go and break into that building and steal some furniture. That is perfect language, you know. That for me is bad. That is a bad command. That's a bad request. When I say, tell me how that bad. Tell me. Except that you have some colonial baggage, a pressure your brain. Maverick, step.